Let me be honest with you for a moment. Getting older is not the problem. The problem is what we've been told getting older means. We've been told it means slowing down. We've been told it means accepting stiffness, fatigue, and a shrinking world. We've been told that the body you have at 60, 70, or 80 is simply the body you're stuck with, that the best years are behind you, that decline is inevitable and unstoppable. But I'm here today to challenge every single one of those beliefs, because the science, the stories, and the lived experience of millions of older adults around the world tell a very different story. A story of resilience, a story of renewal, a story of people who decided at any age to take back control of their health and discovered that their bodies were far more capable than anyone had ever told them. The truth is, your body is not giving up on you. Your body is waiting for you to show up for it. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with 5 simple, deeply powerful practices that don't require a gym membership, expensive equipment, or an overwhelming change to your daily routine. These are things you can begin today, right where you are, with what you already have. And if you stay with me until the very end, I promise you the last 2 practices will completely change the way you think about your health, your aging body, and what's still possible for you. Now, before we begin, I want to ask you something personal. Think about 1 year from today. Where do you want to be? How do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? Do you want to feel stronger, more energetic, more independent? Do you want to walk through your home without gripping the walls for support? Do you want to play with your grandchildren without your knees screaming at you? Do you want to wake up in the morning without dreading the fog in your head or the ache in your lower back? If your answer is yes to even one of those things, then this video was made specifically for you. Everything I'm going to share today is practical, achievable, deeply researched, and grounded in a genuine understanding of what the aging body truly needs. So stay with me. Pour yourself something warm, get comfortable, and give yourself the next few minutes. This could genuinely be one of the most important things you watch this entire year. The first practice is something so fundamental, so universally powerful, that doctors, researchers, and longevity experts from every corner of the world agree it may be the single greatest thing you can do for your health at any age. And yet most people over 60 are getting it terribly, consistently wrong. That practice is sleep. Not just any sleep. Not the kind where you lie in bed for 8 hours but wake up feeling like you barely closed your eyes. I'm talking about deep, consistent, genuinely restorative sleep. And here is why it matters more than almost anything else you will ever do for yourself. When you sleep, your body doesn't just rest. It rebuilds itself from the inside out. Your brain enters a remarkable state of biological housekeeping, flushing out toxic waste products that accumulate during your waking hours, including proteins that researchers now believe are directly linked to cognitive decline and memory loss. Your immune system uses those quiet nighttime hours to launch repair operations across every major organ system, patching damage, fighting off infections, and reinforcing your body's natural defenses. Your muscles recover and grow stronger from the activities of the day. Your hormones rebalance and recalibrate, including the hormones that govern appetite, stress, blood sugar, and cellular repair. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your cardiovascular system gets the rest it simply cannot get any other way. Sleep is not passive time. Sleep is the most active, most productive, most biologically complex healing process your body performs, and it does all of this for free every single night if you simply allow it to. But here is the painful reality that nobody talks about enough. As we age, the quality of our sleep changes in ways that can feel deeply frustrating. The deep, slow-wave stages of sleep that do the most restorative work become shorter and harder to sustain. You may find yourself waking at 2 or 3 in the morning, mind buzzing with thoughts you didn't ask for, unable to drift back into rest. You may sleep for a full 8 hours and still drag yourself through the morning feeling like you barely slept at all. You may fall asleep easily but wake repeatedly, never quite sinking into the depth of rest your body needs. These experiences are not signs that something is fundamentally broken. They are signs that your sleep environment and your evening habits need some careful, intentional attention. What can you do? Begin with your environment. Treat your bedroom as a sanctuary, and I mean that with complete seriousness. It should not be a workspace. It should not be a place for watching television or scrolling through a phone or tablet. It should not be associated in your mind with wakefulness, anxiety, or stimulation of any kind. Your bedroom should signal to your brain one thing and one thing only: safety, stillness, and deep rest. Lower the temperature slightly if you can, because a cooler sleeping environment actively helps trigger the body's natural sleep onset mechanisms. Invest in blackout curtains or a comfortable sleep mask to block light, because even small amounts of light reaching your eyes while you sleep can disrupt the hormonal signals that govern sleep depth. Make the space as quiet as possible, or use a gentle, consistent white noise if silence itself feels too sharp or empty. Establish a wind-down ritual in the 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Not a rigid, clinical checklist, but something gentle and personally meaningful. A warm bath or shower is genuinely one of the most effective sleep aids available to you, not because the warmth is relaxing, though it is, but because of what happens afterward. When you step out of a warm bath, your body temperature drops rapidly, and that drop in core temperature is one of the most powerful biological triggers for sleep onset that we know of. A few minutes of slow, conscious deep breathing, breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4, breathing out for 6, can lower your heart rate and cortisol levels measurably within minutes. A short, gentle read from an actual book, nothing on a screen, nothing stimulating, nothing that activates your problem-solving mind, can help ease the transition from the alertness of the day to the openness required for sleep. And I must emphasize this point because it matters enormously. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, televisions, and computer screens is not a minor inconvenience. It is a physiological disruptor. Blue light wavelengths actively suppress the production of melatonin, the hormone your brain uses to signal to your body that nighttime has arrived and sleep should begin. When you stare at a screen until the moment before you try to sleep, you are chemically telling your brain that it is still midday. Even 30 minutes of screen-free time before bed, consistently applied, can make a measurable, meaningful difference in how quickly you fall asleep and how deeply you stay asleep throughout the night. Beyond your environment and your routine, the single most powerful thing you can do for your sleep quality is to honor consistency. Go to bed at the same time every night. Wake up at the same time every morning, including weekends. Your body runs on a deeply embedded biological clock called the circadian rhythm, and that clock functions best when it can predict what's coming. When your sleep and wake times are consistent, your body begins preparing for sleep in advance, releasing the right hormones at the right times, dropping your temperature, slowing your digestion, dimming your mental activity, all in anticipation of the rest to come. When your schedule is erratic, that preparation is disrupted, and the quality of your sleep suffers significantly. Consistency is not just helpful. For those of us in our later decades, it is essential. Sleep is not a luxury. It is not something to be sacrificed for late-night television or early-morning emails. Sleep is the foundation upon which every other aspect of your health is built. When your sleep is right, everything else becomes easier. Your mood lifts. Your thinking sharpens. Your body has the resources it needs to repair, defend, and sustain itself. And you deserve to get it right. Second practice is one that most people dramatically underestimate, because on the surface it doesn't look like anything at all. It doesn't look like exercise. It doesn't feel like discipline. And yet its impact on your long-term cardiovascular health, metabolic function, and physical independence is absolutely profound. That practice is simply this: stop allowing yourself to sit still for long, unbroken periods of time. Now, I want to be completely clear about what I'm saying here. I'm not telling you that you need to be on your feet all day, that you should never rest, or that relaxation is something to feel guilty about. I'm talking about something far more targeted and far more sustainable than that. I'm talking about consciously and regularly breaking up the sedentary stretches of your day with small, brief, intentional bursts of movement. Here is what happens inside your body when you sit for extended periods, and I want you to really hear this, because most people have no idea how quickly and how significantly this process unfolds. Within the first 30 minutes of continuous sitting, blood flow to your legs begins to slow. The large muscles of your thighs and hips, some of the biggest and most metabolically active muscles in your entire body, essentially disengage. Your lymphatic system, which depends on muscular movement to circulate immune cells and clear waste, stagnates. Within an hour, the enzymes responsible for processing fat in your bloodstream become significantly less active, meaning calories that should be metabolized are instead being stored. Inflammatory markers in your blood begin to rise. Your insulin sensitivity begins to decrease, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar levels. And your cardiovascular system, deprived of the gentle, ongoing demand that movement provides, begins to quietly coast in a way that is not beneficial. This is not a theory. The evidence base on the dangers of prolonged sitting has become one of the most robust and alarming bodies of research in modern medicine. Sitting for more than 8 hours a day is associated with a dramatically elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, and all-cause mortality. And perhaps most critically for this conversation, those risks are not fully offset by exercise at other points in the day. You could go for a 30-minute walk every morning and still do significant, measurable damage to your health by sitting motionless for the remaining 8 or 10 hours. The body does not want occasional bursts of movement separated by long periods of stillness. It was designed for continuous, low-level movement woven throughout the entire day. The solution, thankfully, is wonderfully achievable. Set a gentle reminder on your phone or a simple kitchen timer to go off every 45 minutes to an hour. When it does, stand up and move for just 2 to 3 minutes. That is all. Walk to the kitchen and back. March slowly in place while the kettle boils. Do a few slow, deliberate arm circles and shoulder rolls to release the tension that accumulates in the upper body during sitting. Walk to a window and look outside, letting your eyes rest on a distant point to relieve the strain of close focus. Do a few gentle calf raises while standing at the kitchen counter, rising up on your toes and slowly lowering back down. These are not workouts. They are not meant to be. They are brief biological resets, small invitations to your circulatory, muscular, and metabolic systems to re-engage and function as they were designed to. Over weeks and months, these small interruptions to prolonged sitting accumulate into something truly extraordinary. Better sustained energy throughout the day, sharper cognitive focus, reduced stiffness and joint discomfort, more stable blood sugar and blood pressure, a metabolism that remains engaged rather than stalling out by mid-afternoon. And perhaps most importantly, a body that stays capable of doing the things you love to do, a body that responds when you ask something of it rather than protesting with pain and fatigue at every turn. Movement, woven consistently through your day, is not just medicine. For those of us in our later decades, it is the very definition of freedom. The third practice is one of the most underused, most overlooked, and most freely available health tools on earth. And it's something you can access simply by walking out your front door. That tool is natural sunlight. Full spectrum, outdoor sunlight, received directly through your skin and eyes, is one of the most biologically potent forces your body can experience. And for older adults especially, regular daily sun exposure is not a nice extra. It is a genuine medical necessity that millions of people are unknowingly missing. Here is the biology. When ultraviolet B rays from the sun make contact with your skin, they initiate a cascade of chemical reactions that ultimately produce vitamin D, one of the most critical and multifunctional nutrients in the human body. Vitamin D is not really a vitamin in the conventional sense. It functions as a hormone precursor, regulating the activity of over 200 genes and influencing nearly every major biological system. It is essential for calcium absorption and bone density, meaning without adequate vitamin D, no amount of calcium in your diet will effectively prevent the bone thinning that leads to fractures and breaks. It modulates the immune system, helping it distinguish between threats and healthy tissue. It supports muscle fiber function and neuromuscular coordination, directly affecting your ability to maintain balance and prevent falls. It plays a measurable role in mood regulation, with deficiency strongly correlated with higher rates of depression and anxiety. And emerging research increasingly links adequate vitamin D levels to better cognitive function and a reduced risk of dementia. Vitamin D deficiency is extraordinarily common in older adults. Studies consistently show that a significant majority of people over 65 have insufficient vitamin D levels, not because the body loses the ability to produce it, but because most older adults spend the vast majority of their time indoors, separated from the sunlight their biology depends on. And the consequences of that deficiency compound over time in ways that are deeply serious. Weaken, brittle bones, muscles that fatigue more easily and recover more slowly, an immune system that struggles to mount an effective defense against illness, a mood that sits lower and heavier than it should, a mind that feels less sharp and less resilient than you remember it being. The remedy is simple, free, and available to almost everyone. 10 to 20 minutes of direct midday sun on your arms, hands, and face on 3 to 5 days per week is sufficient for most people to maintain healthy vitamin D synthesis. You do not need to lie in the sun. You do not need to get hot or uncomfortable. You simply need to step outside and be present in the natural light. A gentle walk around the block in the late morning. Time spent sitting on your porch or in your garden after breakfast. A few quiet minutes standing on a balcony, face turned toward the sky. These are not grand interventions. They are small, daily gifts you give your biology. There is also a dimension of sunlight's power that extends well beyond vitamin D. Natural light exposure, particularly in the morning hours, is the primary mechanism by which your brain sets and resets your circadian clock. When morning light enters your eyes, it triggers the release of cortisol in a healthy, energizing morning pulse, and it begins the countdown toward the evening release of melatonin that will help you sleep. People who receive regular natural light exposure in the morning consistently report better nighttime sleep, more stable energy throughout the day, sharper mood, and greater overall sense of well-being. The sun does not just nourish your body with vitamin D, it literally sets the rhythm of your biology, orchestrating the hormonal symphony that governs your energy, your sleep, your mood, and your immune response. Step outside every day, even briefly. Your entire biology will respond. The fourth practice addresses something that many older adults fear deeply but rarely speak about openly, and that is the growing uncertainty about physical stability. The quiet, unsettling awareness that your legs feel less reliable than they once did, that your balance doesn't quite catch you the way it used to, that the simple act of rising from a chair or stepping over a threshold requires a kind of conscious effort that it never used to require. These changes are real and they deserve to be taken seriously, but they are not irreversible. and they are not something you have to simply accept. The muscles of your legs are the foundation of your entire physical independence. They determine whether you can get up from a chair unassisted. They determine whether you can walk confidently or whether you shuffle with uncertainty. They determine whether a momentary loss of balance results in a quick self-correction or a dangerous fall. And falls, I cannot say this clearly enough, are among the most life-altering events an older adult can experience. They are the leading cause of injury-related hospitalization and death in people over 65. And the fear of falling, once it takes hold, often leads people to move less, which weakens the legs further, which makes falling more likely, creating a devastating cycle of decline that is heartbreaking to witness, and yet entirely preventable. The beautiful, empowering truth is that your leg muscles will respond to exercise at any age. The research on this is unambiguous and deeply encouraging. Studies have shown that people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build meaningful, measurable muscle strength and improve their balance significantly with consistent, appropriately designed exercise. The body does not stop responding. The body simply needs the right invitation, offered consistently and with patience. Begin with the simplest possible version of what your body can currently do and build from there. If you are seated for much of the day, start with seated leg extensions. Sit in a sturdy chair. Slowly straighten one leg until it is roughly parallel to the floor. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds while consciously engaging the muscle at the front of your thigh, then slowly lower it back down. 10 repetitions on each side, once or twice a day, is enough to begin building the quadricep strength that is fundamental to rising from a seated position, which is functionally one of the most important movements in daily life. If standing feels manageable, place both hands on the back of a sturdy chair and practice slow, shallow mini squats, lowering yourself just 4 to 6 inches, then pressing firmly back up through your heels. This movement pattern trains every major muscle of the lower body and replicates the exact mechanics of standing from a seated position. Even 5 or 10 repetitions daily will create meaningful change over time. For those who want to expand further, a simple resistance band looped around the ankles during side leg raises, performed lying on a bed or firm surface, targets the hip abductor muscles, the muscles that run along the outer hip and thigh, which are critically important for lateral balance and for catching yourself when you step off a curb or trip on an uneven surface. These muscles are often completely neglected, and strengthening them can have a remarkable impact on overall stability and fall risk. None of these exercises require equipment beyond a chair and perhaps a simple resistance band. None of them require pain, exhaustion, or strain. What they require is consistency, and that consistency, applied daily over weeks and months, will transform the strength, stability, and confidence with which you move through the world. The fifth and final practice is in many ways the most complete and most transformative of everything we've discussed today, because it addresses not just your muscles or your metabolism or your vitamin D levels, but the whole of you. Your body, your nervous system, your mind, your emotional landscape, your relationship with yourself as a living, aging, still growing human being. That practice is the daily incorporation of yoga or Tai Chi, or any gentle, mindful, breath-connected movement practice that invites you into your own body with curiosity and compassion, rather than frustration or avoidance. I understand that for some of you, hearing the words yoga or Tai Chi might trigger a degree of skepticism, or even self-exclusion. You may picture rooms full of young, flexible people folding themselves into shapes that seem physically impossible. You may feel that your body is too stiff, too heavy, too old, too compromised by injuries or surgeries or conditions to participate in something like this. I want to meet that feeling with complete honesty and tell you that it is based on a misunderstanding of what these practices at their most essential level, actually are. The forms of yoga and Tai Chi that are most beneficial for older adults are not the forms you see on social media. They are slow. They are gentle. They are deeply forgiving of limitation. And they are designed not for the body you wish you had, but for the body you actually have, right now, today, in all of its complexity and history. Yoga, at its fundamental core, is the practice of connecting intentional breath with conscious movement. For an older adult, a beneficial yoga practice might involve nothing more than sitting in a chair and performing gentle neck rolls, slow shoulder openers, careful spinal rotations, and 5 minutes of focused breathing. That is genuinely enough. Done with consistency and awareness, those simple movements accomplish something profound. They improve the flexibility and range of motion in joints that have stiffened from years of repetitive postures and limited movement. They strengthen the deep stabilizing muscles of the core and spine that govern posture, balance, and the ease with which you carry yourself through space. They activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch of your body's autonomic nervous system, reducing the chronically elevated cortisol levels that drive inflammation, disrupt sleep, accelerate cellular aging, and contribute to anxiety and emotional fragility. In short, gentle daily yoga creates a physiological environment of calm, strength, and repair that benefits every system in your body simultaneously. Tai Chi operates through a different but equally powerful mechanism. Its defining characteristic is the continuous, slow, flowing quality of its movement, where one posture transitions seamlessly into the next like water moving around stones in a stream. This quality of movement is not aesthetic. It is functional. It trains something that almost no other form of exercise addresses directly, and that is the real-time communication between your nervous system and your muscles. Every slow, deliberate transfer of weight from one foot to the other, every gentle rotation of the torso, every carefully controlled arm movement in Tai Chi is training your nervous system to send clearer, faster, more precise signals to your muscles, improving what researchers call proprioception, your body's internal sense of where it is in space and how to respond when your balance is challenged. The clinical evidence on Tai Chi and fall prevention is among the most consistent and impressive in all of geriatric medicine. Regular practice has been shown to reduce fall rates in older adults by 30 to 45%, not because it makes people faster or stronger in the conventional gym sense, but because it fundamentally improves the neuromuscular communication that keeps us upright when the unexpected happens. Beyond the measurable physical benefits of both practices lies something that is harder to quantify, and yet perhaps most important of all. Both yoga and Tai Chi are practices of presence. They demand, gently but insistently, that you arrive fully in your body and in the current moment, that you feel the sensation of your breath moving in and out, that you notice the quality of the contact between your feet and the floor, that you move with awareness rather than on autopilot. In a culture that increasingly pulls our attention outward and forward, into screens and schedules and anxieties about the future, this quality of embodied presence is genuinely rare, genuinely healing, and genuinely transformative. When you practice yoga or Tai Chi daily, you are not just stretching muscles or improving balance. You are building a daily relationship with your own body based on respect, attention, and care. You are telling yourself every single day through action that this body matters, that this moment matters, that you are worth 10 minutes of stillness and breath and intentional movement. And that message, repeated with consistency across days and weeks and months, changes not just how your body feels, but how you feel about your body, about aging, about yourself, and about the life still available to you. And that is the deepest truth at the heart of everything we have explored today. Aging is not something that simply happens to you while you watch from a distance. Aging is something you participate in, actively and continuously, through every choice you make about how you treat the body you live in. The choice to prioritize sleep. The choice to break up long periods of sitting with movement. The choice to step outside every day and receive the light your biology was designed to absorb. The choice to gently, consistently strengthen the legs that carry you through the world. The choice to spend a few minutes each day in breath and movement that reconnects you with yourself. None of these choices is difficult. None of them requires exceptional willpower or athletic ability or financial resources. What they require is the decision to begin and the commitment to continue. You are not too old. You have not missed your moment. Your body has not given up on you, and I hope today, after everything we've discussed, you feel ready to stop giving up on it. 1 year from today, the person you are in that moment will have been shaped significantly and meaningfully by the choices you make in the days and weeks ahead. Let those choices be ones that honor the extraordinary, resilient, capable body that has carried you this far. Let them be choices that give you more energy, more strength, more independence, more joy, and more of the life you genuinely deserve. If this video moved something in you, if something here shifted your thinking or renewed your sense of what's possible, please take a moment right now to like this video and share it with someone you love, someone who might need to hear exactly this today. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do that now and ring the notification bell so you never miss what I share here each week. Every single video I make is created with one purpose: to help you live longer, feel better, and age entirely on your own terms. Leave me a comment below and tell me which of these 5 practices you're going to start with today. Not tomorrow, today. I read every comment personally, and there is nothing I love more than hearing from the people who watch these videos. Your stories remind me why this work matters. Thank you, from the very bottom of my heart, for spending this time with me. Now go take care of yourself. You have earned it, and you deserve every good thing that is still ahead of you.